Hey everyone, welcome back. Man, what a crazy and exciting 24 hours it's been if you're a Jurassic World collector living in the United States. After months of waiting and watching the rest of the world get their hands on the Legacy Collection Brachiosaurus, as of last night, the Brachiosaurus is available for purchase in the US, and I could not be happier right now. Just going to give you a quick rundown of what's been going on with this figure. So a few weeks ago, the Brachiosaurus started popping up on Brachiosaurus saying that Target had it in stock. A few stores actually put it out. Some collectors went to go purchase it and they got denied at the register, saying that it had a street date of October 6th. And then a few days ago, all the inventory on Brachiosaurus said out of stock for some reason yet, even though these figures were still in stores. So a lot of people were waiting for this Sunday, October 6th, to try to get their hands on this figure. Well, last night, a couple collectors, went to Target, figures on the shelf, they go through the register, and it rings up, which just started a mass hysteria of just all us, Jurassic World collectors just heading out to Target last night and trying to get their hands on this figure. And it seems like a lot of people were very successful getting their hands on this figure. All you need to do, if it's not on the shelf, I will leave the DPCI code in the description. Just find a Target employee, just ask them politely, be patient, see if they can get a location on this figure. If it's in the back room, if they have a location on it after you give them that number, they should be more than happy to bring it out to you for purchase, which is what I did first thing this morning. There was a very few reports last night of some people still being denied at the register trying to purchase this figure. So if that happens to you, see if it can be held at guest services. You can go back this Sunday and try to purchase it again. So anyways, let's move on with the review of this figure. We're going to go over the packaging. I'm going to take it out of the box. This figure does need to be assembled, so I'll go over the assembly with it, and then we'll just review the figure once fully assembled. I mean, honestly, I've been a long time Jurassic Park fan. I've been waiting for a figure like this for 26 years, and I can't believe that I finally have a large-scale Jurassic Park style Brachiosaurus in my hands right now. I am just completely overjoyed right now. So let's talk about this box art. This box is just absolutely beautiful. Mattel put a ton of love in designing the packaging for this figure. It just captures probably the most iconic scene in the Jurassic Park franchise of when Dr. Grant, Ellie, and Malcolm are first introduced to the dinosaurs in the island. I remember when I saw this movie in theaters back in 1993. When this scene came out, when you first got to see the Brachiosaurus, it just sucked the wind out of this sold-out movie theater that I was in, and it is one of my most memorable movie moments of all time. You got the Legacy Collection logo front and center on the box. You got picture of John Hammond, Ellie Sattler, Dr. Grant. You got the Brachiosaurus and the Parasaurolophus in the background, and you got a silhouette of the Brachiosaurus stating how big this figure is. Now there is a package variation with this figure. On some of the Legacy Collection Brachiosaurus boxes, instead of having a silhouette of the Brachiosaurus, it's actually a silhouette of the Apatosaurus. Now, some people thinking that's like kind of a teaser that we, somewhere down the road, that we might be getting an Apatosaurus. I don't know. Personally, Apatosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time. I would just be completely over the moon if Mattel released a big Apatosaurus figure. And, same thing when the package art was first revealed. It did show John Hammond on the packaging, and that was before he was actually announced to be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So who knows? I really hope that we get to see an Apatosaurus sometime in the Jurassic World line. And spinning this big box around, you get a, let me see if I can get this in the camera shot, because probably not. You get a nice vertical picture of the Brachiosaurus. My crappy lights are in the way. This is just a close-up of the same picture that's on the other side of the box, just zoomed in a little bit. I just can't wait to get this figure open. So anyways, enough about the packaging. Let's crack this thing open. It's been killing me since this morning. Since I picked this up, I haven't torn it out of the packaging yet. So this is how the Brachiosaurus comes right out of the box. Each piece is in its own bag of plastic, and all you really need to do to assemble this figure is just attach the head and the tail. So let me just take these parts out of the plastic and we'll get on with the assembly. Alright, now we got everything out of its little plastic baggie, and this figure is now ready to be assembled. So first we're going to do the tail right here, and you're going to see this notch right here. And what that is going to do is line up with this notch right here. So you want to do is just push this in until you hear it click. And then there you go. Your tail is now attached to the Brachiosaurus. And now let's get on with the head. Same thing. You got your little port right here, as my light totally destroys this. And let's attach the head to this thing. A little bit of force on this one. There we go. You have to push down pretty hard. You just hear this little click, and now this absolute monster is assembled. So obviously my studio is not meant to have a figure this big in it. So I'm going to rearrange some stuff and we'll get a full look at this Brachiosaurus. Alright, I had to do some finagling with the studio and just do this review on the floor because this figure is just so big and tall. It just wasn't working on the desk that I usually do my normal reviews on. But anyways, here is the Brachiosaurus in all her glory. This figure is just absolutely massive. I'm just so impressed by the size of it. I'm just so happy that we actually have a large Brachiosaurus figure that scales pretty well with the rest of the Jurassic World line. Like, the only other Brachiosaurus that we ever got in the line, I think, was when JP3 came out. It was just a small figure with like a rubbery neck, and it was just, you know, I think some of the Raptor figures are actually bigger than that Brachiosaurus. So just blown away by this figure. I'm just so happy to finally have this in my hands. We've been waiting, a lot of us have been waiting like 26 years for something like this, and we finally have it in our hands. So a big thank you to Mattel for, you know, making a lot of our dreams come true as Jurassic Park collectors, to finally have a figure of this magnitude. So anyways, I'm going to do a couple quick measurements with this figure, and then I'm just going to zoom the camera in and we'll just look at different details of the figure, so I'm not just sitting here kneeling on the floor. Alright, so this figure is, I'm probably going to be shot a little bit, is exactly 28 inches tall from its feet to the top of the head. And by extending the head down, this figure is, as I'm blocking the camera, sorry about that, exactly 42 inches long from the top of the head to the tip of the tail. So this is definitely going to take up a absolute ton of shelf space in your collection. Alright, let's start with the head sculpt on this beautiful looking figure. This is a really nice JP style Brachiosaurus head. There is articulation on the mouth right here. You can just open it up about that wide. You can see the teeth are painted nicely, and inside the mouth there is the tongue, and the gums are actually a molded pink plastic, and they have a nice sheen to them to give it that wet look. The eye, is adjust it for a second, is just painted a straight black color, and I just think the way the light comes off it just gives it a very lifelike look. You can see the ear is sculpted right there, and the nostrils are sculpted in the top of the head, and there's really no scalation on this figure. It's mostly just a wrinkly look going all the way down from the head all the way down to the tip of the tail. And the main body coloration is just a dark brown color with just a little bit of that white coloration that starts in the mouth going all the way down the base of the neck all the way down to the stomach area. Now there is some articulation at the base of the neck right here. It moves up about that far. I mean, there's still a little bit more space where this could actually move further in, but it just stops right here. And you just pull it down and the head can basically touch the ground just like that. This is definitely one of the hardest figures I've ever had to review. It's just so big and cumbersome. So, you know, just bear with me during this review. And on top of that neck movement you get with that up and down motion, it actually can turn side to side. Actually, you can do a complete 360 with that joint on the neck. And now moving down to the main body. Before we take a look at the articulation of the legs, let me just get this part over with. For those of you that, this figure's so hard to maneuver, that want the scan code, here it is right here. Now you can see along, you know, the rest of the main body, you still got a lot of those nice folds and wrinkles and sculpted into this figure. This figure really isn't that heavy. It's mostly a hollow plastic figure, so it's not like it's going to weigh down any shelves when you put it on top of there. You know, most of the Mattel toys are just a like light hollow plastic build, so their durability is always in question, but I think this figure is easy for a child to, maneuver around with due to its lighter weight compared if this was a solid plastic figure. And if it was solid plastic, it would probably cost like 3 times that $50 retail price. Moving down to the feet, you can see that the toe claws aren't painted. Mattel has always been hit or miss, painting the claws on their dinosaurs. Some of them have their toe claws painted, others do not, and this Brachiosaurus falls in the category of not having the toe claws painted. Whatever, it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, it's such a large figure, you're really not looking at the toes on it. So articulation wise, the front legs can't move past the stomach right here, but they can move forward to about 90 degrees, and there is a locking joint in there, so if you put the leg out, it will stay in that position. And then when swinging it back, you can hear it click back into place, which is great for stability, so you don't have to worry about these legs getting loose on you and this figure falling over. And the articulation is the same on the back legs. The back leg can actually move a little bit past its stomach area, and same thing when you get to this point right here, you'll hear it click into place, and then the back leg can go up just like that. So if you wanted to display a Brachiosaurus like it's lifting his leg up to take a piss on something, there you go. And actually it can, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to rub all the paint if I do that. So just swing the leg back around right here and you'll feel it lock back into place. And moving on down to the tail, there's very little articulation in the tail. It can go side to side, but when you move it, it does click into place, and the difference, once you click it, is really not that noticeable. So you can swing it this way, and you can swing it that way. And like I said, let me just adjust the camera. It's really not that noticeable when you click it around like that. Is the farthest the tail is going to swing in either direction. And my biggest complaint with this figure has to do with the articulation. Just because the way the tail is connected on this figure, you can't get this Brachiosaurus in the rearing position to recreate that iconic scene from Jurassic Park. You're going to have to hold the figure up to try to do it. I'm just trying to, maneuver it right now. I'm trying to do this on camera. But that is probably my biggest complaint with this figure. I think it was just a missed opportunity not to include a joint in the tail to at least move up to allow that position. And let's move on to some comparisons. And here is the Brachiosaurus with some of the Legacy Collection human figures. You got Ian Malcolm, John Hammond, Ellie Sattler, and Dr. Grant. And you can just see this Brachiosaurus scales just beautifully with the human figures. This figure is just perfect for recreating the first scene with the Brachiosaurus in the original Jurassic Park movie. And here it is with some of the other sauropods in the Jurassic World line. You've got the Attack Pack Mosaurus and the Megadual Amogosaurus. And this Brachiosaurus just absolutely dwarfs them. I really, really hope we get more large sauropods in the Jurassic World line. Like I said earlier in the video, I would just absolutely be giddy if we get a large Apatosaurus figure. And here it is with a Velociraptor and a Parasaurolophus. I figured I'd just, compare the Parasaurolophus since it is in that iconic scene and is also on the box art. And a Velociraptor because, Jurassic Park. That's the whole reason why Velociraptor is as popular as it is. And here it is with some of the larger theropods in the Jurassic World line. You got the Indominus Rex and the Bite and Fight Tyrannosaurus Rex. Both these figures are just repaints I did. My originals are just in storage right now. And as you can see, they scale beautifully with this Brachiosaurus. I just absolutely love this thing. This is probably my favorite Jurassic Park, Jurassic World toy of all time right now. And I've only had it in my hands for a few hours. And here it is with the figure that has made all of us collectors paranoid and nervous about every single release for the last year or so. The Legacy Collection Spinosaurus. So we all know the story with the Spinosaurus, just how badly Target dropped the ball with this figure. It was barely available to get for retail. A lot of people had ended up paying scalper prices. The Brachiosaurus has only been out at the time of this video for not even 24 hours. So I do hope that Target plans to constantly restock this thing. This is a figure that anyone that is a fan of the franchise should easily be able to obtain for their collection. It's just such a beautiful, amazing figure. So final thoughts on this figure. I've been gushing about this thing since I started the review. The box art is just amazing on it. The size of this figure is impressive. The sculpting and detail are really good on it. It has, decent articulation. It's not a heavy figure. It's a hollow plastic figure, just like most of the Mattel line. I definitely, you're just a fan of this franchise, you definitely need to pick this figure up. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I have the DCPI code in the description. Just head over to Target and just kindly ask an employee if they can check it, see if it's in the back, and hopefully we'll be getting more sightings of this thing on shelves. The holiday season is right around the corner, and if Target is smart, they will just constantly be stocking this thing, because this is a great item for kids that are fans of dinosaurs. When I was younger, I loved huge dinosaur toys, and this thing definitely fits the bill. So that will do it for the review. It's kind of a bittersweet review. As of right now, there's nothing announced for the Legacy Collection past this Brachiosaurus. I would love to see the Legacy Collection end up in someone else's hand. Obviously, Target has shown that they really don't care about this line. It's been a pain to collect, especially with the Spinosaurus. The smaller Legacy Collection dinosaurs like the Raptor and the Pachycephalosaurus. I started collecting the Jurassic World line kind of late in the game. I started around November of last year, and I never saw a Pachy or Velociraptor on the shelf at Target. So hopefully, if the Legacy line does continue on, I'd like it to end up in someone else's hand. I don't care if it ends up at Entertainment Earth. I know it'll probably cost a little bit more than getting it at retail, but I would like the peace of mind knowing that I will be able to easily obtain a figure and not worry about how bad the release is going to be if the retailer is going to botch it up. Even Amazon, I don't think Walmart's going to take on too exclusive with the Battle Damage line and the Legacy Collection, but who knows? So hopefully sometime in the future we'll get more information on what's going to happen with the Legacy Collection. I'd love to see a Jungle Explorer, more play sets, stuff from The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, and more stuff from the original film. So who knows? Maybe some time in the next couple months, Mattel will give us more information what's going on with the Legacy Collection. So let me know in the comments, did you rush out last night when you found out that this was actually ringing up at the registers at Target? And if you got your hands on it, and also what do you think of this figure? Just let me know down in the comments. And as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.